We're in day 34 and day 30. Okay. For one batch, we are at day 34 today, and one batch it is at day 30. So now the date is on 12th June 2024. When looking at the topic what we are covering yesterday, we are looking at vulnerability assessment. We saw how do a Nessus tool work and how to start a scan, how to give a credential scan, and what is it. Now we are seeing on the results. I mean, that is a report. Majorly, vulnerability assessment will be working on a report. Okay. Okay. What is that happens is that mm, how do you generate a report? Okay. Now we'll see what exactly the report. Generating the report is easy, guys. Once the scan is finished, you can directly ask for generate report. You will get a report generated. This is not a big deal. But the question is, after this report is generated, you have to give a analysis of the report. Okay. You have to write the analysis. Means what are the vulnerabilities available? For example, there is a vulnerability which is critical. There are some vulnerabilities which are high. You need to address this too. Hey boss, these are the critical vulnerabilities. What is the reason of these vulnerabilities? What is the CV score of this? How do you handle this? What is this? Everything you have to generate. 1 minute, guys. Let me stop my WhatsApp. This is irritating me. Yeah, thank you. So this now, as I told you, to understand the report, you should know some parameters. The parameters is one is CVEID. I told you every vulnerability will have a common vulnerability exposure ID. Okay. Otherwise, it will have CWID. The CWID comes for a content of application vulnerability. If there is any vulnerability or weakness in particular application, that vulnerability named as CW. The general vulnerabilities of the infrastructure will be named as CVE. And the thing is CVSS score, that is Common Vulnerability Scoring System. This is a system which gives the severity of the vulnerability. Depending on the score, we select the severity. If the score is more than 8, we make it as a critical severity and we have to immediately work on it and solve the content. Otherwise, it will be a big problem. We have to solve it as soon as possible. This is things. So today we'll see once you generate the report, how do you do the analysis? What are the things? See, I'll show you this. So again, I need to connect to this. Ah, remote desktop session. Give me a minute. Sorry, I need to connect to that my remote desktop virtual machine where I'm running my Nessus tool. I forgot my password. Again, I need to open. I'm stopping a screen for 1 minute. Yeah, I logged in. I'll share my screen. Share. Is screen visible here?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Kiran. Yeah. So we'll see this. This is a thing we done. Yesterday we done my scans and we run a scan. This is a scan yesterday we have done. It is finished. Once you click on this, guys, once you click on this scan, you got the vulnerabilities. See, you got some vulnerabilities in the violet color, everything. But how many servers did we run this scan? We run this scan on three servers. One is 04, one is 07, one is 05. That is 10.200.0.4, 10.200.0.5, 10.200.0.7. Three servers, but there are vulnerabilities in one server. Remaining two servers are good. No vulnerabilities are there. Now 10.200.0.4. How do you run the vulnerabilities? What do you check on it? If you want to click on it, just click on this anything. It will show you the vulnerabilities, all the vulnerabilities. But if you can see high, there is only one vulnerability. But if you want to know the ring, there is mixed. If you click on mixed, it will have both critical, high, medium, everything. Click on mixed. See, there is a critical vulnerability which is having a score of 9.8. There are high vulnerabilities running this one. Now you have to take care of each vulnerability clearly. If you have a time and things clearly, you have to click on that vulnerability, open that vulnerability, study that vulnerability, what is happening, okay, what is the solution given, what is the protocols maintaining it, what are the different time. It is you have to take this. It's up to you. How do you? What we do, already I studied all the criticalities, everything. So what I do, I will generate a report. Okay, I'll go back to my scans. Okay, this is my June. Okay, I opened it. Now I click on report. Okay, just a report. Once I click on report, it will ask you, you want a complete report or a detailed vulnerability by host, depending on the, or a vulnerability based on your plugins. Plugins means every CVID will have a plugin things. Always I prefer go with complete vulnerability by host. All the vulnerabilities which are available in the host. Then it will ask you, you want me to download a HTML format or CSV format? I prefer CSV because I can work on it. Now, when you're downloading, it will ask you, hey, these are the parameters I am available with my format. Table format means he is going to give you the plugin ID, CVE, CVSS, risk score. Okay, I do want CVSS 3.0. I'll talk what is this 3.0 score and risk factor plugin, no need. These are the things. Okay, now once I generate the report, okay, if I click on generate report, it will create a report and will download my report to me. So the vulnerability report is downloaded here. Once you open the report, June 2024 report, once open it, you will have the report. This is a report which got generated for me. Okay, the plugin ID, everything. Okay, like this. From which IP it is communicating, what is the port number it is using, what is the name of the vulnerability, and the explanation of the vulnerability. Okay, this all they'll give you. Now from this, how do you generate it? Now what I do, where is my CVSS code? One minute, guys. Why I could not get everything? 1 minute. Let go back. CVSS Core 3. Who is this fellow? Remote login output. Let me remove this. Delete. Why the version 3 score is also not come? Okay, let me check it. Hmm, don't save. Actually, I should get a report like this. Complete CVID. Why it missed out? Let me check once again. Okay, because you may have a problem. 22. Open it. I generated a report, vulnerability report in CSV format. Plugin ID, CV score, CV3, CV temporary score, base score. But why these all are fine? Why it is not generating? Generate report. Okay, I need to update my Nessus tool, I think. Why it is not generating? Basically, what happens, guys? I don't know. Really, I need to check this. Okay, how it will generate, I'll show you. See, this will be the table format like this. I generated last month only. Okay, the plugin ID will come. You will get a CV score. CV score, that is CV ID. What is the score of that? What is the risk? So what I did, instead of getting medium everything, I filtered my thing and got only high. And from which host, what is the protocol number, what is the name, what is the description, and what is the solution for that vulnerability, what you should do. Everything will come to me. Now, what I'm going to do from here, I will take the high priority, which is like criticality. See, now what happens when you go for the content? Okay, this CVSS core will have versions, that is version 2.0, version 3.0. What is it? For example, 2.0 is a old one, the old score before some 6 months or 7 months. This is the latest. Always you should consider the latest version score, because in some cases version 2 will say the score is 8 or some 7. So if it's 7, we say it's a high severity. But as per the 3.0 version today in the market, for that vulnerability, the score is 8.8, then it goes into critical. Now, if you consider your version 2.0, you will take this is only high priority. But as per the present scenario, present version, it is 8.8. So always go with the highest version, and at present the version running in the market is version 3.0. So that is the thing I'm showing you in the table column. Okay. Okay. Again, I open the screen to you. Close this. Open this. Okay. See. This is CVV version 2.0. If you move bit back, there is version 3.0. If you want, can you see the scores? I have put both on the beside only. This is one score, which I'll add one color. Okay. This is one score. We'll add one more color. So it's blue. Now check the scores if you want. At the latest version is 7.8. In the old version it is 5.3. Like that, the score in the latest version is important than version 2.0. So because the latest version is version 3, we will consider CVSS version 3.0. Now the question comes, who will decide the score? Who are the parameters which decides this score. Okay, let us show you this. Now, how I'll go? Now, when I want to go and search for a vulnerability, I will go for it. I'll go for the vulnerability, go to the Google. Your boss or somebody said, your manager, I want the CVE content, the idea of CVE 2022. Okay, what is that blog 4J ID? Uh, what is the tide here? Oh, I have it. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Huh? Log 4J CP. 44228. Okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm taking CVE 2021 44228. This is the thing. So this is my CV, unique number of my vulnerability. If I want to understand this vulnerability, I'll just try to click on the vulnerabilities of this. So when I go inside, it will give you me the vulnerability, what happened to the vulnerability, what is the score, everything. Now the question comes to everybody, okay, this vulnerability I understood, bro, but how is the score? How are you deciding that? The score is 8.8, the score is 9, the score is this. There are some parameters which decide your CVSS score. The parameters are very important, which will take you the next content. Means how do you calculate the things? So give a heading stating that parameters, parameters for calculating CVSS score. This is very important. The last is, can you give me the parameters which are used for calculating CVSS score? Okay, right. CVSS score parameters. Okay, first thing, let us go. There are some parameters. One is CIA triad. Okay, let me write. One is attack vector. I remember attack vector, one parameter. I'll decide. I'll give an example. Second one, uh, attack complexity, attack complexity. Next, third one, user interaction, user interaction. One attack vector, attack complexity, user interaction. One more thing, privilege required, privileges required. Then the fifth one is your confidentiality, confidentiality. The sixth one is integrity, integrity. The seventh one is availability. These are 7 parameters which decides the CVSS score. These are the parameters which decides the CVSS score. For example, there is a vulnerability is there. This vulnerability is a weakness. Okay. Now it is on the attack vector, means it is going to affect the complete network or only one system. Now there, if this attack vector, as per there is a vulnerability, we'll take some vulnerability in our name. Okay, for example, let us take one vulnerability, some CV, okay, 2024 5678, some vulnerability is there. Now I'm trying to calculate the vulnerability score. How? When I took at the vulnerability, if this vulnerability is known to the hacker, it is going to affect my complete network. Then the attack vector will be coming as a network. The complete network will be collapsed. If it is network, the score will be high. Okay, somewhere about 9. Now, for 10, they'll do this. Next, attack complexity. Now, this attack complexity is like they are going to very tough to crack. What is the attack happened? How it happened? That is complexity. If it is an easy one, okay. If it's tough one, finished. User interaction. For example, the vulnerability is found by the hacker, and the vulnerability is in such a way that the user no need to do anything. Once he runs a code, automatically it will attack you. Means the user no need to enter his password, personally come and enter the logins, anything. It is automatically taking. User means the hacker. Without the user interaction, if the attack is happening, it is very high criticality. Next, for example, there is one server to you, and they found a vulnerability on the server. That vulnerability is a weakness on the server. To log into the server, exactly you should have a privileged access, like a admin, anything. But because of that vulnerability, even no need of requiring a privilege required. He can directly come into the server and attack us. That is very big vulnerability or very risk. Again, the score increases. Means the first four parameters are the parameters which decides what is the complexity of the hacker. Okay. For example, you give me an example. If there is a house, you have a house, or there is one laptop, you gave me a laptop. This is your personal laptop. Okay. What happened? You have put a password. You have put a password. I know what is it. But unfortunately, the vulnerability of your thing is like you did not disconnect or disable your USB port. So what I did, I took my pen drive, connected my pen drive with a malware. The malware which I put inside your thing is backdoor. Without switching on, I put on your lap pen drive and accessed it. Once the pen drive is connected, the malware is transferred, and all your credential or all your authentication methods in your laptop got disabled. That's it. Now the vulnerability with your system is USB scan. USB is enabled and I'm unable to easily do that. Now this vulnerability I need to score attack vector. Because of this USB, the whole network is getting affected or your system. Only my system is getting affected. Then the attack vector is only the endpoint. Now attack complexity. Any tough? No need. I'll connect my pen drive and I'll finish it off. User interaction required? Yes, there is required. I have to connect my pen drive. I have to go to the place of the laptop and connect it. So it is not so high in user interaction. I have to interact. Privilege required. No need. Once I connect my pen drive, your laptop is in my hands. So the privilege requisition is no need. Now confidentiality. Once I logged into your system, all your data is mine. So the confidentiality is affecting 100%. You are nowhere working. Integrity. I can delete all your files. This is one. Availability, ICANN system. So this all vectors will decide. Now, as per my score, the score will be some 8.8 something. So these are the vectors which decides the score. Once you got this score, then your manager will ask you, hey, it is 8.8 score. You don't decide. The score will be decided by the vendors. Who are the bodies? There are three bodies who are going to decide. You don't need to worry on that. One is CVE body, one is National Vulnerability Database, one is MITRE. These are the three bodies who will decide the score of a vulnerability. But your part as a vulnerability assessment, by there is a 8.8 score which is critical. You have to let me show you one content like this. Now is this again? I forgot this one word. Password incorrect, expected. I don't remember the password also. Okay, fine. See, let us see one vulnerability. I'll show you what is a vulnerability. Highest one where we have is 9.8 here. This one, critical system. Come on, yeah, get lost. I have 10 criticality. 10 guys. 10 is very high. So we'll do one thing. What is this 10 criticality? What I did. So I'm studying only this. I'm opening this. 10 criticality TCP 445. Okay, the remote. What is happening with this? We'll see. The remote Windows host is affected by .NET Core vulnerability. What is this .NET Core vulnerability? Unfortunately, .NET is an application which the version what I am using, this version is not supporting me. So what is saying, update the .NET Core and remove vulnerability package and refer to the vendor. He's saying, he gave me the access also. This is a HTTP, this is a vendor. He's asking me to download. So what I did now, when I went into this, this is my CV score. I will create a thing stating that, bro, the 10.210 watt has a vulnerability. What is it? In this server, you are using a .NET version, which is very old version, where it contains some libraries where easily the attacker is able to attack you. So immediately what you do, you try to uninstall the .NET from your computer. If you want the .NET still, at least you don't uninstall it, you upgrade your installation to the next version and remove the packages. This you have to inform. To whom you will inform? Being a vulnerability assessment team, you will generate a report. What you generated a report, very clearly you will say, bro, the server which is on 10.200.0.4, this server is having a critical vulnerability which is having a score of 10. What is the thing? Because you are using a .NET old version, and immediately you have to update it to the new version or remove the .NET. Now, this is the advice you give as a vulnerability. This advice to whom you will give? He will give to the NOC team, that is network team, who is maintaining this server. That people have to immediately react and say you that, hey bro, okay, and they will patch the process. What is patching? They are using .NET 5.2 version. Now you ask them to version was 7.6. So they will patch the old version 5.2 to .NET 7.6 new version. They have to patch it. Means they have to upgrade it. The patch means vulnerability means there's a hole. There's a hole when the hacker will come into your network. Patching means you have to close the hole. How you close the hole? Because it is created is because of the old version. You patch it with the new version. So this is a way the vulnerability assessment takes place. How? What you did? They'll ask you, can you give me the flow what you do in vulnerability assessment? Then say yes. I will initiate the scan first. I'll initiate the scan. Once the scan is done, I will generate a report. Is a file. Once you generate the report, in the report, I will describe the vulnerability and provide the recommendations or solutions. Provide the recommendations. Now, your work is done or not done? As a vulnerability assessment, your work is done or not done? You run a scan,
Not
you
done.
generate done. You provide yes or no, done or not done?
No.
Not done. Good. Because once you provide the recommendation to which team, you provide it to the network team. Now, what do the network team should do? The network team should patch your all the vulnerabilities and again inform you back. And after they patch, again you have to run the scan. Once you run the scan, again generate a report. When you generate the report, this vulnerability should not be available. Means then it indicates, okay, bro, the patch is successful. I cannot see the vulnerability. Now you can use the system. This is a vulnerability, this proactive measure. You got my point? What I'm trying to say? So until the patch finishes and once again you run the scan, you should not leave them. You should back up. Bus is a patch done? Are you are okay? Is a vulnerability closed? This you have to generate it. Am I clear? This is a whole process where your vulnerability assessment will work out. Now, sometimes some in the teams they'll ask you, okay, Kiran, did you run any vulnerability? Yes, I have run a vulnerability scan. Which tool? Nessus tool. Okay, what is a report you generate? What are the parameters your report will contain? Then you say, hey, I generate my report as a like, which contains my plugin ID. Okay, plugin ID. After the plugin ID, I collect the CVE number of the vulnerability. This is my customer. I'll do this. Even I collect this CVE number. I collect this CVSS score. Once I got the CVSS score, I will go with the severity. Then once I got the severity, I'll go with the vulnerability name. What is the vulnerability? Why it is happening? And I'll describe the vulnerability. After describing the vulnerability, I'll provide the solution, how to do, what to do. After solution I provided, I again do from which IP address did I collect it. I will mention it in that. From which port the data is communicating, I'm mentioning that. And I name the host name, on which host name did the vulnerability found. And I will, this is a very good one, scan start time. When did I start the scan and when is the scan is ended? In this time only I have this vulnerability. And what is the operating system running on the server? These are all the data I collect as a vulnerability assessment engineer, and I'll provide it to the things. This is my report. Then ask, how many reports do you generate every month? I generate basically one report. Then they'll ask, being in SOC, why are you running the vulnerability assessment? You are in a SOC team. Why are you entering into vulnerability? Then this answer should be come from your mouth that, see, in my team, all the vulnerability team, endpoint team, SOC team sit in a same place. Sometimes we run the vulnerability scans to check whether as a proactive measure and provide it to the networking team. This is my company rule. I don't do vulnerability management, but I do vulnerability assessment on some servers. I will generate the report. I'm good at generating vulnerability reports and I'll do the analysis. Then the next important question comes. Okay, what is the best practice you do in you generated a report? I appreciate you, he'll say. Can you give me how do you analyze it that it is the perfect one? Then you say, the answer is, hey, I will go the CVE number, which is the CVE number. Okay. From the CVE number, I will go to the Chrome, that is search, the browser, and I will search for the CVE. I will check the three patterns, the CVE database, the NVD database, and MITRE database. I'll try to collect more information from everything and I will conclude it. Then you will ask, okay, Kiran, you said you are going to set CV database NV. Apart from these three, do you follow anybody else? Then you say yes. If a CV is found and if the vendor is releasing any report on that, who is a vendor? For example, I'll say you good examples. What happened, guys? One day there is an attack called Log4j. This is the most dangerous vulnerability till date. Log4j. What is this Log4j? This is happened on a server. Which server? Web server. You know what is web server? Web server means in this world, if anybody want to launch their web page, they cannot launch like that. They have to have a web server. And the Linux web server Red Hat is a vendor. Red Hat is a Linux vendor, very famous vendor. He is having a best web server called Apache servers in the market. So these Apache servers are used by TCS, Wipro, big companies. They launch their websites on the Apache servers. Unfortunately, one day, the Red Hat vendor created an Apache server, and this is having a vulnerability called Log4j, which gave access to so many users to this website, unauthenticated. Then, where is the problem? The Red Hat could not find it, and the vulnerability has created a problem. Now, immediately when there is a vulnerability and attack happened. Log4j attack, very big attack. Then immediately the CVE people came in, the vendor. They said, "Bye, this is a description of this attack." Then immediately NVD also came. NVD, National Vulnerability Exchange, said, "Hey, I also have a description." Then Mitri came. Okay, okay, we also did a research. This is my description. Then the vendor said, "Okay, I'm Red Hat. I made the server and this is my description. Whom do you consider in this four now?" In the Google, you are getting a description of this attack from the CVE, NVD, Mitri, Red Hat. Whom do you prefer?
Vendor.
Huh? Sorry, please.
Vendors.
Excellent. Red Hat. You give preference to vendor because vendors knows better than everyone. This question is sure. If there is a vulnerability there, and whom do you prefer to follow? First, say, I will look for the vendor description, vendor analysis. If the vendor is giving me the analysis of that thing, I will go with the vendor. If in case there is no vendor Red Hat available, then anything you can prefer. Everybody have the same value. Okay. This is the vulnerability assessment content. Okay, so this is where we launch or we'll work on it. The maximum questions will come, but keep sure side, this topic is only to add an advantage to your resume. This is not your SOC operation. Okay, this is not at all a SOC operation, and this will not give, you cannot say I'm an expertise in vulnerability assessment, because vulnerability assessment is a very big topic. We have to do vulnerability management, everything. But you can put in your resume, I know Nessus tool and I'm good at vulnerability assessment of servers. Okay, done. Any doubts until here? Team, any doubts? Team, any doubts, please?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
This is, yeah, please. Yes,
nothing.
nothing. The next one, okay, it is very important topic, which is called your frameworks. Basically, when you work in a IT company or any software based or any company, there are some standard frameworks you have to follow. There are two major frameworks. One framework is called ITIL framework. I'll explain you what is this framework. One is NSIT framework. Sorry, sorry, not you. 1 minute, guys. Okay, everyone. Okay, I'm coming. I'll talk to them. Sure, sure. Let me finish the list. 2 minutes. Okay, sure, sure. I'll take 1 minute. I have the document he gave me now. 1 minute. Today, Schanger and Cisco has to report us. I want the Cisco people to come in with me. Okay, done. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Really sorry. There is ITIL framework and one is NIST framework. He will ask you which framework you are following. Guys, don't say both. No company will follow both frameworks at a time. Any one framework they follow, and I am following from my so many years ITL framework, because I know what is NIST framework, but I don't follow NST framework in my company. So we follow ITIL framework. So if they ask you what is a framework you follow generally, say them that I am going to follow ITIL framework. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see what is this ITIL framework. Once we finish this framework, tomorrow I'll finish this for sure. Then from day after tomorrow, I will start your SIM tool. That is your major SOC operation. What do you SIM? What happens in now? I'm going to integrate it. Once I finish the ITL framework, then I'll start complete SOC next 15 days, almost 12, 30, 14 days. We'll be sitting completely on tool and we'll integrating it. Okay, done. Okay, catch you tomorrow at same time. We'll see that. But tomorrow it will be important. ITL framework is very important for a SOC person. Okay, done. Thank you, team. Catch you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye, Nana.